everybody, Dr. Carolyn here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about intergenerational trauma and your gut microbiome. There's a hidden connection there, and we need to get to it. So as I've discussed in previous videos, trauma can have a lot of different impacts, and it can have an impact on individuals, families, and even future generations. This time, I want to talk about the emerging field that studies intergenerational trauma and its effects on potential connection to the gut and the gut brain. Microbiome is the vast community of microorganisms living within our digestive system. So just a quick review. What is intergenerational trauma? You can go back to the very first video and view it in more detail, but it essentially is the passing down of emotional and psychological wounds from one generation to the next, or the effect of those wounds. It can be caused by a number of experiences, including war, abuse, neglect, poverty, and then it often shows up in unhealthy coping mechanisms, negative self-beliefs, and difficult family relationships, dysfunctional families. It's the unseen legacy of the traumas we've experienced. When a parent or grandparent has unresolved trauma, it can shape both their parenting style and can impact the emotional well-being of their children. And then these effects can ripple down, influencing future generations. So let's get to talking now about your gut and your gut microbiome. The microbiome has trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses, literally trillions, can you believe that? Living inside your gut. And it plays a really important role in digestion, in your immune function, and even surprisingly in mental health. A diverse and balanced microbiome is really essential for overall health. The microbiome is a complex ecosystem teeming, as I said, with trillions of microorganisms. And these tiny little residents play a vital role in various bodily functions, from breaking down food to regulating the immune system and even influencing our mood. What's really weird is that there is a gut-brain connection, and it's bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain via the vagus nerve, and also different hormones. So your gut microbiome can influence what neurotransmitters in the brain, like serotonin and dopamine, how they're produced, and this can impact then your mood and behavior. A stressed or imbalanced gut can contribute to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The gut and the brain are constantly in conversation. The vagus nerve is like a superhighway in our nervous system, and it carries messages between the gut and the brain. Additionally, the gut microbiome produces neurotransmitters, as I mentioned, like serotonin and dopamine, that have an effect on mood and behavior. Now, when your gut is stressed or out of balance, it can send signals to the brain that cause you to feel anxious or depressed. So it's really important that we pay attention, not just to what's happening in our brain, but to what's happening in the gut brain. So how does trauma affect our microbiome? Studies suggest that trauma can alter the composition of the gut microbiome. Stress hormones also can disrupt the balance of bacteria, causing inflammation and potentially leading to gut disorders. Early life adversity may shape the developing microbiome, potentially impacting future generations. So research suggests a fascinating link between trauma and the microbiome. Stress hormones that are released during traumatic experiences, like toxic stress experiences, can disrupt the delicate balance of bacteria, promoting inflammation and potentially leading to digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease. Additionally, emerging evidence suggests that adverse childhood experiences, such as a mother experiencing trauma during pregnancy, may influence the developing microbiome of her child, potentially impacting their health later in life. So, even when in utero, these experiences can impact the baby. So, what can you do to protect and heal your microbiome and that of your children? Well, obviously, psychotherapy can help individuals process and heal from trauma. You can also work on building healthy relationships and support networks that foster resilience. Mindfulness practices like meditation can also help manage stress and promote a balanced gut microbiome. Now, we know that Western medicine doesn't really offer a pill for healing the gut. But here are some alternative therapies that you might consider, some complementary alternative therapies. These are therapies for a trauma-impacted microbiome, essentially healing from the inside out. Intergenerational trauma can leave a mark not just on our emotional well-being, but also on these little residents in our gut. What I want to talk about are some of the things that you can do from complementary and alternative therapies that may support a healthier gut ecosystem. You can use those with traditional trauma therapies as well. So let's go through each one of these. The first one is probiotics. Live bacterial supplements that can help restore balance in the gut. Now, research suggests probiotics may be beneficial for conditions like IBS and IBD, so that's important to know. And there are many different types of probiotics. It's best to choose a high-quality, multi-strain probiotic with clinically studied benefits. So probiotics, like I said, can help replenish beneficial gut bacteria. One example is in Korean food, and that's kimchi. Another are things like sauerkraut. So this is one of my favorite brands of raw organic sauerkraut. Another probiotic containing substance is miso paste. Everybody knows miso soup, which is great. But you can make your own miso, anything, miso stew, miso soup. The key to this is adding a teaspoon or more to your meal once it's already cooked. So let's say you cook the soup, divvy it up into the bowls, just put a teaspoon of miso paste in each bowl and stir it in. So you don't always have to take a pill. You can use foods that have been fermented, and those provide probiotics. Now, prebiotics are fiber, non-digestible fiber that serves as food for the gut bacteria, and they promote the growth of the microbes in your gut. So prebiotic foods include fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. They're like fertilizer for the gut. You can also consider prebiotic supplements alongside the probiotics. And again, fermented foods, which are naturally rich in probiotics and beneficial bacteria, include things like yogurt. I mentioned kimchi, kombucha is not a lot of evidence there, but sauerkraut. But you have to remember, this has to become part of your normal routine. You can't just eat, fermented foods one day a year. You have to do it on a regular basis. It has to become part of your regular diet. It's also important that you get, unpasteurized and organic products. You can make dietary changes just like us. The gut bacteria have preferences on what they eat, and they don't like refined sugars, processed foods, and unhealthy fats. That can disrupt their homeostasis. So plant-based foods, lean protein are sources that nourish your gut bacteria. And I mentioned mind-body practices, that can be yoga, meditation, and deep breathing. And then stress management, because chronic stress does disrupt the gut-brain axis. So using a relaxation meditation, anything that will reduce your stress. You can also use yoga to manage stress. And then another way is by combining traditional Western medicine with alternative therapies. I like to use for maintenance things like acupuncture, chiropractic, if that suits you, and so on. But obviously, you need to consult with your doctor before starting any new supplements or therapies, especially if you're taking medication or you have other health problems. So, healing from intergenerational trauma is a journey that requires a multi pronged approach. By combining traditional trauma therapy with complementary and alternative therapies and a healthy lifestyle, individuals can support their overall well being and potentially promote a healthier gut microbiome. Thank you for listening.